Hi everybody, this review is on the 2009 disaster movie 2012. So the plot of this movie is this scientist named Adrian Helmsley, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, Ejiofor, Chiwetel, Ejiofor, the guy from 12 Years a Slave. And then later it shows this journalist named Jackson Curtis, played by John Cusack, who's a struggling novelist, and he's trying and he's warned about the whole thing about the end of the world because nobody believes in any of the science because they think the end of the world is just something silly, but the world does seem to fall apart, and Jackson and his family, wife, and kids all try to survive together and hopefully live to before the world ends. I did like this movie. I think it's a movie that is what it is. It's pretty much everything you'd expect from a Roland Emmerich movie. Just a fun disaster film, and that's all you get. But when it comes to like the actual writing, I think it's still fine. Like lots of people, I guess, would agree that this is more of a style over substance movie. But you know what? Honestly, for the movie this is, I actually do like it. I like how it's a disaster movie, but instead of focusing on like a whole group of people, it's focused on like one certain family, which you'd think that'd be kind of weird, but somehow they make it work. And the family has really good chemistry. Like John Cusack has really good chemistry with his family. His wife is also played by Amanda Peet, and he has children. And the way they interact with each other, it's really good. You really buy them as a family. It gets surprisingly pretty emotional at times. And as I said, the effects are absolutely amazing. It's obviously, I guess this was still, this movie's not that old. It's only just a little over a decade old. So obviously, it's still going to look good. And yeah, visually, they did an impressive job of trying to make it look like how the world would end. Because you think, like, well, the world could end anyway. But you know what? They chose a disaster. And given this is a disaster movie, and you know what? They did what they could with it. And it is a pretty long movie. It is like, I know I always say I never complain about runtime, but like it's like about 2.5 hours or so. But like I don't mean that as a negative thing. Like while it is a long movie, it moves by pretty quick and it's still very entertaining. And I think if you like disaster films and you're interested in seeing a movie about the end of the world, I think you'll get your money's worth. Or even if it's available for streaming. Well, here in Canada, it's on Netflix, but for a rental, I think it's still a fine enough purchase. I think it's definitely good if you want to see, a fun disaster film with a bunch of big effects, or if you just, want to see a movie about a family being close together. And it works out both ways. And I think for that, it makes for an entertaining film. I do think it's a pretty entertaining movie. I know a lot of people thought it was kind of but it was just the kind of movie I went in expecting. Just some dumb fun, I guess. That's kind of what you expect from the director of Independence Day. But yeah, 2012. I think it's worth a watch if you're one of those people who complains about runtime. Maybe the 2.5 hour runtime would turn you off, but I still think it's a fun enough film. It's definitely not a classic, but you know what? It is what it is, and lots of the time you can just accept a movie for what it is, and I do like it for that. So that's my review of 2012. So catch you later.